My girlfriend and I took graduation pictures, but I found out she cheated on me. My girlfriend 22 female and I 21 male took graduation pictures last Wednesday and they arrived on Saturday. We were excited to see them and she posted them on Instagram and made another post of the photos we took. I was going to post them in 2 weeks after our graduation ceremony, but she made a post for us. She posted them on Instagram at 6 p.m. yesterday and an hour later I received a DM from a random account that said my girlfriend was cheating on me. They sent 5 pictures of her kissing a guy at a party we went to back in January. I looked closer and the woman was my girlfriend. She had a pink streak of hair at the time and the woman had the same hair streak as her. I was confused, so I went to her apartment and showed her the pictures and she confessed that the girl was her. She said they were grouped together for a final for one of her classes back in December and they made out one day after the other group members left. She then told me she slept with the guy every Wednesday while I was at work from December until March when she broke it off because the guilt was too much for her to handle. She said the pictures were when I was in another room talking to a couple of friends and she ran into the guy and they went to the patio to make out. I didn't say anything other than we were finished and I was breaking up with her. I went to her room to collect my things and she started crying and begging me to forgive her. She kept apologizing and pleaded with me to give her a second chance, but I couldn't hear anything at that point. She grabbed my arm when I walked out the door and told me to stay, but I pulled my arm out and left. She was blowing up my phone when I got back to my room, but I blocked her an hour later. I feel completely numb. I haven't left my desk since last night and I don't feel like moving. We were together since our first semester of college and now it's over like that. She was my best friend for the past 4 years. We went everywhere and did everything together. I know everything about her and she knows everything about me. She was with me when I found out my mother passed away. I supported her through her eating disorder recovery. I did my best to be a good partner for her. I'm never going to see her father or her little brother again. We were going to graduate and get an apartment together and we're planning to go to Germany and Italy next year and now those plans are all gone. How am I going to tell my sister about this? She loves my ex-girlfriend and now I have to tell her she cheated on me. She still has the post of our graduation pictures on her profile and all the comments saying y'all are the cutest. I have a folder of our pictures on my nightstand and it feels like the folder is mocking me. I hate this feeling. I hate everything so much right now. Why would she do this to me? All I want to do is cry, but I can't do it. How could I not pick up the signs? She never responded to my messages on Wednesday and I never thought anything of it. Why am I so oblivious to things? I hate myself so much right now. Update. She sent me a text through her best friend's phone saying she also got together with one of her friends from high school when our college sent us home to quarantine in spring 2020 and felt like I needed to know. I knew it. I am so mad. Today I messed up being willing to do anything to make my girlfriend get off. Last night my girlfriend asked me to stop trying to pleasure her because she was not gonna finish and it was getting late. I said I was willing to keep going. But she said we both knew she never got off with anyone and nothing was gonna change that. I asked if she wanted to use one of her toys. She said she was not in the mood for toys. I said there must be something I could do to get the job done. She said it is what it is and encouraged me to focus on the fact that she enjoyed getting me off. At that moment she got dressed and prepared for bed. I was still exposed and still struggling to accept the idea that my girlfriend was doomed to always depend on accessories. I have nothing against anyone using accessories, but I could tell that deep down my girlfriend would really like it if she could get off through human contact. My girlfriend eventually got tired of hearing me go on and on about trying new things and figuring out ways to get her off that she finally interrupted me and said there was something we could do that might work. She said I was not gonna like it though. I said I was willing to do anything if it meant getting her across the finish line. My girlfriend said okay and opened her closet. She pulled out a hoodie and said her first boyfriend had that on when he took her card. I asked why did she still have it. She shrugged and said she didn't know. I asked what did she want us to do with her ex's hoodie. She said I should put it on and let her have top. As soon as I put it on, my girlfriend became really dominant. The animal inside of her came out. An animal I didn't even know existed. My girlfriend didn't get off, but she milked every minute I had that hoodie on. My girlfriend put the hoodie back in the closet when we were done and said she was willing to let me wear it again if I was still feeling passionate about trying anything to get her off. Not gonna lie, it was not the biggest confidence boost to realize that my girlfriend was not only attached to her ex in some way, but also needed his personal belongings to bring out her wild side and potentially get her to cross the finish line, which I've been unable to do since the beginning of our relationship. All I wanted to do was make my girlfriend feel good and now it seems like I'm competing with her ex to do that. I hate hoodies now. Edit. The ex-boyfriend is dead. I should have included that information in my post. Sorry. Update. Today I messed up being willing to do anything to make my girlfriend get off. My girlfriend and I decided to end our relationship. This happened on Sunday. The plan was to unpack the hoodie situation. The deceased ex-boyfriend, my girlfriend struggling to finish, her feelings towards me, my feelings towards her, our feelings towards getting therapy, etc. However, when I showed up at the flat to have that discussion, my girlfriend was no longer sober. I could see it in her eyes, hear it in her voice, smell it on her breath. She was drunk. It was out of character. My girlfriend usually avoids drinking too much. I asked if she was in the mood to talk about what happened with the hoodie. My girlfriend said she never wanted to use the hoodie to hurt my feelings, but she got sick of hearing me talk about getting her off like it's become my life's work. I apologized for becoming obsessed with this and promised to tone it down. My girlfriend didn't seem to believe my promise and asked if I would ever enjoy lovemaking with her if she never finished. I was honest and said with or without and finishing, lovemaking would always be enjoyable with her because I loved her, but deep down I would probably feel like she's not getting the full experience if there was no satisfying payoff for her at the end. My girlfriend said if I wanted a satisfying payoff, all I had to do was wear the hoodie again and again and again. I asked if that was really her talking or the alcohol. My girlfriend shrugged. I asked if she thought it was normal to ask her boyfriend to wear something that belonged to her dead boyfriend, especially during lovemaking. My girlfriend struggled to stop the tears and said the hoodie actually belonged to the guy who was best friends with her dead boyfriend. She confessed to cheating on him before he passed away. I was speechless. My girlfriend clarified that the hoodie belonged to someone who was still alive. She taunted me to ask her why she had the hoodie of the guy who never loved her, why the hoodie made her go wild when I had it on, why she cheated on the guy she loved more than anyone, etc. I hugged her out of the blue until she managed to calm down. The two of us eventually ended up on the couch. We were too emotionally exhausted to continue talking. She fell asleep. When she woke up, she asked me to leave, for good. She said our relationship kind of tested her to see if she really was ready for another relationship since the death of her boyfriend. What happened with the hoodie made her realize something she apparently knew for a long time now. She was not ready for me, for us, for anyone. I did my best to fight for our relationship, but her mind was made up. She was done. We were done. I've been unable to sleep, hence me typing this post while most people on my side of the planet are sleeping or almost getting up for work. I hope my ex-girlfriend will be okay. I hope I'll be okay. My ex-wife contacted me out of the blue to tell me the man she cheated with and left me for mistreats her. I'm 31 and my ex-wife Claire is 35. We were married 10 years ago right when I turned 21 and graduated college. We were married 5 years. During my whole marriage, I thought we were happy. I certainly was. Anyway, I worked in the IT field and still do. We never got into fights during our marriage and our love-making life seemed to be satisfying. A couple of months before I finally caught her with her affair partner, she turned cold to me, whereas before she had loved to initiate lovemaking and loved having it with me. Suddenly we tapered off. Every day turned into once a week. Then for the last 2 weeks before I outed her, not at all. I caught her because she had left her phone out and it was still open to an exposed selfie that she had sent to a number I didn't know. Although I was crushed, I kept my head on and took photos of her phone with my phone. I saw her message stream with her boyfriend, some guy from the gym that I was paying her bill for. I didn't confront her. The text told me all I needed to know. They had been screwing while I was at work, in my bed. I just kept quiet. Then the following Saturday when I knew she would be at her supposed double yoga class and that's why I'll be gone 3 hours, I loaded my stuff into my car and left. I had talked to a divorce attorney and I would be fine. I was 25 and didn't have serious money. Her father had passed away and left her like $200K, so she was rolling in dough. I had no claim on that money, nor should I have had one. We had no kids, although she had always claimed we would start having kids when she turned 30. That birthday came and went, but rather than start having kids with me she decided to just spread her legs for someone else. Although I was the sole income earner, she was in possession of a vast amount of money, by my standards, and also had a college degree and was a school teacher for 2 years before we got married. The divorce papers were left on the kitchen table. She of course blew up my phone later with all kinds of apologies and begging and pleading, but I ignored her. A lot of her friends tried to call me and left nasty messages about how I was a coward and never loved her, otherwise how could I ghost her? I ignored all of them. The only person I called was the guy's wife, who promptly dumped him. But I guess it worked out for my ex because she and her boyfriend got married just a few months after the divorce finalized. The only time I ever saw her again was in front of the judge to end our divorce case, where I had to pay 0 alimony and it was a clean break. She never looked at me once but kept her head down. She brought her boyfriend from the gym and he was flexing, trying to look hard like he was going to fight me. I just shook my head at him and thought he gets what he pays for. I've been on dates since then and have made love a few times since then, but have never been in a long-term relationship since. This was my own choice. In a lot of ways I'm not over my relationship with her. I don't love her anymore, but I'm turned off to loving anyone now. I reconnected with some of my friends I had neglected during my marriage since my wife disapproved of me being friends with anyone. Facebook used to be an app I used, but pretty much anyone I care about I already see and converse with face to face or on the phone, so I never use it anymore. Apparently Claire had spun a narrative that I was mentally hurtful and that's why she had no choice but to leave me for a fair partner. My parents didn't buy it, and my close associates didn't buy it, either, but she tried selling the crap to my boss to get me fired. I guess as revenge against me ruining her boyfriend's marriage. Ironic that she caped for his marriage, when it was his new bachelorhood that helped make a relatively honest woman out of her. I just showed my boss the texts where my ex begged for mercy and forgiveness and admitted she was having an affair and that I was a good husband, etc. He just told me he was sorry, and gave me 2 weeks paid off to rest. Fast forward 6 years, I'm still single and just working in my same field and at same company, but making more money now, and I am doing pretty well for myself. My own apartment. I've got savings. I've got a 401k, a car, and am generally happy. I do what I want, when I want, and answer to no one. I suppose I could put a down payment on a house, but I don't need one, and I'm happy where I'm at. But last week my ex started texting me again. I never blocked her number, since there was no need to. She hadn't been trying to contact me anymore since the flurry of old messages a long time ago begging me not to divorce her and telling me the other guy, who she is now married to, didn't mean anything to her, blah blah blah. At first her messages were just friendly. Hi OP, it's Claire, long time no see, how are you? I know I messed up, can I call you? Then she tried to call me, at least 10 times, I didn't pick up, and I didn't answer any of her texts either. OP, this is still your number, right? I talked to a mutual acquaintance and he says this is still your number since you replied to him on it. Please talk to me. She then told me how much she missed me and how I was the only man who was ever good to her. Then she started sharing information. OP, affair partner is such a bastard. He hurts me, I don't know what to do. I made the biggest mistake of my life throwing you away. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. I still ignored her. Then she started naming off different ways that he hurt her. I don't ever want to contact her again. So I texted our mutual acquaintance, a person who had joined in on calling me a coward years ago but with whom I still have some contact because I know his family, and told him what Claire told me, and asked him to get into contact with the proper authorities if what she's saying is true, because I don't give a crap about Claire anymore, and I don't care if she starved to death in the street or passed away, but maybe her friends care. I actually used those words. Looking back, it's obvious I do care, if I bothered to try to send such a hateful message through an intermediary, but I didn't want to get involved otherwise. I also think Claire is trying to manipulate the former nice guy I used to be. The old me would have rushed to her rescue and be a shoulder to cry on. Not anymore. The acquaintance told me I was an evil person and a monster and blah blah blah. I told him to F himself and blocked him. For the first time in forever I logged into Facebook. As expected, no one that I used to think of as a friend had ever tried to message me to comfort me or help me back when I was first getting cheated on and divorced. I had gotten a lot of support from my family and actual friends and coworkers who had since become outside friends. Tons of people who were her friends had been sending me messages now, telling me they were right to support her because I was abandoning her in her time of need. Like seriously, what the F? What am I supposed to do? I'm her ex-husband and someone she cheated on. They know about the alleged misconduct on the man's part, so as her friends what are they doing about it? I'm just some guy she used to know. And who she hurt. I kept on getting the abuse. I screen captured all the texts she had sent me recently as well as years ago. My number never changed, and I never delete anything, and have decided to stop taking high roads on social media and just blasted all their feeds with her texts where she begged me to take her back and she admitted to cheating on me. Finally they left me alone. Now she is still texting me complaining about what I said to the mutual acquaintance and accusing me of never loving her and that I was an evil person. I never replied to her. I feel good about what I did, and in my own sick way, I feel like I have closure. Claire, if you're reading this, F off. Today I messed up by doing what my ex-wife says and ignoring the accident and 2 people passed away. So this happened, I don't know, 2008-ish, and it's a memory that unfortunately won't go away in my life. It popped up again unintentionally and unprovoked the other night and it just doesn't sit right with me and I'm always left with regret and remorse. So the year was 2008 or so. I tried googling the news headlines to corroborate my claim but I'm not very good with that sort of advanced search. My then wife at the time is not a good person at heart. She was a Karen in training and very self-centered. We were heading up the 101 in Cali for her cousin's wedding one weekend. I want to say it was around Salinas, before the exit to head west to Monterey. When the accident happened, I saw a spray helicopter about 100 yards on our right take off from the fields and watched it get about 50 feet in the air. Not too high for a helicopter but enough to be low for a helicopter. I saw it hovering there and then saw the propellers for a second, quite visibly, which caught my attention because you should honestly never see them rotating that fast when airborne. So now I'm paying complete attention to the helicopter and I watch smoke come out its engines and then just stop and plummet to the ground like a rock. I saw it happen and pointed it out and I started to pull over to the shoulder to help and she yells at me. What are you doing? I'm pulling over to go help. What are you going to do? I've got a fire extinguisher in the car. I can go put out the flames and try and pull them out. You're not a Marine anymore. You can't just go running off and saving people anytime anymore. But they could be hurt and I see smoke everywhere. No, we're going to be late to the wedding. Let someone else deal with it. So away we went. I found out later on during the week in the news that the 2 people died inside from the fire before emergency services got there. The worst part is that when we finally arrived to her cousin's wedding, we found out that they deemed us unimportant enough for the actual ceremony and it was the reception we were hurrying to. I feel like those deaths are on me and I should have done something. I cheated on my then pregnant wife 26 years ago and lost the chance to know my daughter. About 26 years ago I cheated on my then pregnant wife, which I fully accept was 100% without a doubt a situation where I was fully in the wrong. I quickly admitted to it and she understandably went ballistic. She told me I'd never see my child ever and that she was gonna ream me dry with child support. Honestly, the first few weeks I tried to mend things. I told her that I'm not looking for forgiveness but I am sorry. I at least wanted to be a part of my daughter's life but she was understandably angry and she stood by what she said. She did what she said that she would do and I honestly wanted it all to end without too much stress so I didn't even bother with a lawyer. I lost the house, the car and everything I owned and I had to move back to my parents' house, where I got the scolding of a lifetime. They shat on me for a week straight but again I deserved it so I never thought to fight back. I quickly bounced back since I had a pretty good job and moved to an apartment and it had been a few months so I tried to contact her again. I just wanted her to let me have a relationship with my daughter at least. She had been born at the time and I wanted to see her nothing more. She still refused and told me that I'm never gonna see her ever again. Well, at that point I was at an all-time low. It was clear that I had made a mistake to not try fighting for the right to at least see her but it was too late to think about this so after a few months of depression I got over it and started dating again. It took a few dates but I found a new girlfriend. When we got serious I told her all about my past, my previous wife, my cheating and my daughter and she was aware of everything I had done but she chose to trust that I would never do it again. 24 years later I've almost moved past all that. I'm married with 2 beautiful kids and honestly life's great. I still have thoughts and curiosity about my daughter but from what I can gather from my ex-wife's social media she married a brilliant guy and they raised her well and even gave her a brother. She inherited my hair and eyes and was a swimmer and excellent tennis player like me. She did well in school and graduated salutatorian. She got into college and my ex-wife gave me a chance to chip in for a car to celebrate that achievement. It was medical school and she's currently a first-year resident. I wanted to be a doctor once upon a time, but I could never hack it in medical school, and seeing her succeed where I failed is a joy, but she doesn't know me. Not even a little bit. She doesn't know what I look like. She doesn't know who I am, and it doesn't seem like she's interested. I guess that is probably why my ex-wife gave me an opportunity to talk to her back when they were trying to get her a car for college, and she wanted to know if I still wanted to meet her back when they asked me to chip in for the car. Thinking back, I don't think it was about the car, as they could have afforded it on their own. They are pretty well off. They could have financed it if they weren't. I think my wife was trying to open a chance for me to get some kind of relationship with her before it was truly way too late, but I felt like it was way too late at that point. I told her that she should feel free to tell her about me, and if she ever feels the need to meet me for herself, I'd be more than willing to do so. It's been almost 4 years since then, and she hasn't reached out. My wife told me that she's not really interested in meeting me since she already has a great father. She said she told her about the car and all, how I tried to be in her life in the earlier years, and that I never missed payments for her child support. She said she doesn't really know me, but she appreciated the gesture. It doesn't seem like she's ever gonna be open to meeting me, and all I can do at this point is try my hardest to forget about her. It kinda sucks that I did this to myself, and even though I love my wife and kids and my life is great, I feel terrible that she's better off without me and I don't have a way to get to know her. All I can do is be proud from a distance, as she's not planning on approaching me. I've thought about approaching her and at least becoming acquaintances and introduce her to her half-sibling, but at the same time I don't want to be the one who reaches out. I want it to be her choice because I took way too long back, and I should have persisted because I've missed way too much of her life to consider myself anything to her. She's right, she already has a great father. Getting involved with her will make no difference. We're pretty much strangers. I just wish that she could at least meet her half-siblings. No good reason for it, just some kind of relationship with a person I can't even call my daughter anymore. I just regret the people my stupidity ultimately robbed. My parents had a grandchild that died without meeting. I don't think they even got to see a picture of her or find out how she did in school. I basically robbed my whole family of the opportunity to get to know her. Above all else, she's family, and I believe they would have gotten along. I can't change that now, but I just wanted to get it off my chest. Thanks if you read until this far. My kids are also aware that she exists. She's also aware of them, but me and my wife agreed that we'll only ever try and arrange for them to meet up if they themselves want to meet up.
I just walked in on my boyfriend and my best friend. I don't know what to do. I'm 19 and my boyfriend is 21. We've been together for 2 years. My boyfriend is a big gamer and his games usually take up a lot of his time. So much so that I can never get a hold of him for hours at a time. But when I do, it's because he's playing games with his friends. Last year, days would go by without my boyfriend contacting me due to him playing his games, so I picked up Genshin Impact to kill time and fell in love. I asked my best friend Jessica, 20, to play Genshin with me, but she said she'd rather play Warzone with my boyfriend and his friends. I said okay because she was always into those type of games. So, Genshin has an update tonight which takes roughly 5 hours, so I thought I would head over to my boyfriend's apartment with his favorite food and watch him play games, maybe keep his company. He lives a couple streets down from me, so I usually take a taxi to his place every weekend or he drives to see me, but our time together is usually on weekends. I called him a couple times and didn't get an answer. I texted him asking if he's okay and if he needs anything, but I still didn't get a response, so I just went over. When I got there, the door was unlocked and I heard some sounds. I didn't know what to do, so I stood there frozen for a few minutes until I mustered up the courage to walk down the hallway. I get to his room. I open the door and he was on top. They were both exposed. He was kissing her. They were smiling and laughing. I started screaming and crying and they both got so flustered looking for something to cover up with. I ran out the house and my best friend, or I guess ex-best friend now, was begging me to stop and to listen to her, but I just ran out the street. I ended up walking home by myself just crying, and now, I'm back home writing this. It's still fresh. I don't know what to do. I blocked both of them, but I know eventually they're going to want to talk and I don't know if I can handle that.